Hello, everyone. And this week, we are going to be looking at ancient Egypt. And I think ancient Egypt is one of those subjects. I know for myself, when I was first in my earliest period of being a history student a long time ago, ancient Egypt was always just one of the ultimate fascinations. Ancient Egypt, you find so many well-preserved major historical artifacts, mummies, the mystery of the tomb of King Tut. It's a fascinating area of history to study. We know so much relative to other ancient civilizations. We know so much about Egypt because of the ability, as a result of the Rosetta Stone, because of the ability of scholars and archaeologists to study and understand largely the hieroglyphs. Historians and archaeologists have been able to learn a pretty significant amount about Egypt, particularly when you consider, now there's many mysteries, as there are with all ancient areas of study. So far back, the lack of preserved records, of course, means that there's much left, in some cases, to speculation, and there's much we can't know for certain. But in the case of ancient Egypt, of all ancient civilizations, at least of this period, when we're talking about the earliest of the great civilizations, we have greater knowledge probably of Egypt than of any of the others because of things like the King's List, for example, which was a discovery of hieroglyphics. And the King's List had actually a chronology of all of the kings in the dynasties of kings in ancient Egypt. And it really helps us to understand a great deal about at least the leadership in Egypt at the time. So Egypt is an incredibly fascinating history. You have an understanding of an incredibly developed sort of world view and belief system, a developed religious understanding centering around things like the cult of Osiris. We have an understanding of Egyptian mythology. We have an understanding of Egyptians' ideas of life and also of life after death. We have an understanding of the way Egyptians lived. And we have many amazingly preserved artifacts from this incredible civilization. We do have a test this week, so remember, use the study guide. I have a study guide provided for you in modules, and when you use the study guide, what you'll see, the way the test is made up is you have a multiple choice true-false section, and then there's one or two short essays that I ask you to write. And on the test, you'll have that multiple choice section, you'll have the short essay section, and the short essays are related to major themes, major subjects that we've been covering in the class so far. So look at those on the study guide. You'll also see a list of terms on the study guide, and those are people, places, things, events, these types of things. Those are identifications. So I recommend that you go in there and double space the document and fill out the identifications of all of those so you can kind of study those terms as you prepare for the test. Remember, when you take a test online in Canvas, once you click on it, once you open it, the test is on and you have to take it. So don't click on it thinking you can click on it, look at it, and leave. Once you click it, you have to take it. All right, so to the factoid this week, and just the question is going to pop up and just answer it as it pops up. The factoid for this week is this. I have these pictures chosen here for a particular reason. Sometimes when we think about ancient Egypt and we think about the pyramids, we think that the pyramids were sort of all the same and always built the way that they were built. But however, the development of the period, the development of the periods is a centuries-long sort of development in terms of the evolution of the engineering processes involved in building a pyramid. The pyramids were based initially on what you see here. This is called a mastaba, and it's basically a tomb. The pharaoh or the individual would be buried sort of underneath this, and this structure at the top would make up the sort of, if you will, for lack of a better term, headstone, if you will, structure above the tomb. And this is called a mastaba. And these were the original sort of basis for the pyramids. So when Egypt was developing as a civilization, they weren't immediately building pyramids. And likewise, pyramid development did not actually continue after the Old Kingdom. The Old Kingdom is the period when the greatest of the pyramids were built. After the Old Kingdom, now there were incredible builders like Ramses the Great, for example, who built incredible monuments to themselves. But he was in the New Kingdom, and so the Old Kingdom ends roughly around 2100 BCE in that area. The New Kingdom ends roughly around 1200 BCE, and the New Kingdom is associated with the full expansion of the Egyptian Empire, and also of great building. They just didn't build pyramids. Pyramid building was of the Old Kingdom, that period from around about 3000 BCE to roughly 2100 or so BCE. So the pyramids started based on something like this, the mastaba. The next step, as you see here, the step pyramid of Djoser. This is considered the first pyramid, and you can see it's basically one mastaba stacked upon the other to now create this pyramid-like structure. In the process of getting to a perfect pyramid like this, the Egyptians had a lot of engineering sort of challenges to overcome, and they didn't always get it right. And here you see the bent pyramid of Snefru, which was a failed building project. This pyramid looks like this because the engineer who's building the pyramid got the calculations wrong. And you can see it's the angle is bent. That's why it's called the bent pyramid. It's not until Snefru's red pyramid, same pharaoh as associated with this pyramid, that you get the sort of pyramid, the perfect pyramid shape, if you will, that we all think about when we think about pyramids. This is Snefru's red pyramid, the first of the sort of traditional Egyptian pyramids. So the factoid for this week is pyramid development. It started with the mastaba, and it was a learning experience. There was an evolution in engineering and in engineering these things that was required to get from here, a mastaba, to the red pyramid of Djoser, to a perfect pyramid. All right, I'll see everyone in the discussion forum. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's have a great week, everyone.